It's Dr. Jerome Corsi. Today it's Thursday. It's August 1st, 2024. And we're rapidly heading into the Democratic National Convention. I can hardly wait to Kamala, whatever it calls herself these days, to cackle her way through convention. Dr. Jerome Corsi, you can find me on X at Jerome Corsi 1. Find me at Substack, JeromeCorsiPhD.substack.com. I want to get into it right away today. There's a couple of videos I want to play. Chris has got them lined up. Number one, Donald Trump was at this black, newscasters event, and Kamala was supposed to be there, but she didn't attend. She wanted to appear virtually, I guess. Chris will tell us the story. And this woman asked Trump some of the most rude questions, and I want you to watch how Trump handles this, because I think it's brilliant. So, Chris, you want to introduce it? Let's play this clip.
Yeah, he was at this. I guess I'm. Forgive me if I forget the actual name. A National Association of Black Journalists panel. He was. The idea was him and Harris were supposed to be there together. Harris's campaign wanted to do this virtually via Zoom, whereas I believe the group did not want her to do that, and I believe that's correct. The best way to do that is have them both in person, not one far away where they can be easily coached, and one in person. It does not seem fair. However, so I agree with them on that. The fact is, though, she wouldn't show up unless it was she wouldn't show up in person. Let's put it that way. So without further ado, I'm going to play the clip. You get to hear the introduction, how Trump handled, let's say, being in a hostile environment.
Yeah, I can hardly wait for everybody to watch this. Go ahead.
I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabbit to describe Black district attorneys. You've attacked Black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking Black supporters to vote for you, why should Black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the Black population of this country. I've done so much for the Black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for Black workers and Black entrepreneurs. I've done so much. And, and I say this, historically, Black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke. And I saved them and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something
Mr.
was
President,
wrong.
I would love
I think it's a very nasty question. I have answered the question.
I mean, the disrespect is dripping. It's stupid. This woman is an embarrassment. Another plant. By the way, the birth certificate issue, let's get that clear. I found the birth certificate in Hawaii from which Donald Trump's was copied. And Sarah Papio engaged in a multi-year investigation of this. He took it to forensic labs internationally, and we determined that Barack Obama's birth certificate is a fake. They say, "Oh, but we know that's not true." No, that's all nonsense. That's the mainstream media censorship saying, "Here's what you may say, here's what you may not say. This is what's true. That's not what's true." They can take that to hell, right with Satan. They don't have the right to say what's true and what's not true until it's debated. They have the right to only based on fact. They don't care about facts. These people are so completely out of their minds that they're into this deep ideology of hatred. Now, that woman is dripping with hatred. If that's what race relations is going to be under Miss Kamala, well, then we don't need it. We don't need more division in this country. We don't need more Barack Obama. We had enough of his fundamental change, his Marxist bullshit. I said from the beginning, this guy was a CIA plant. It's like a CIA legend. That none of his facts fit together. You can't document anything about this guy, except that he was groomed to be president, except that he was raised by Frank Marshall Davis, except he was in an Islamic school in Indonesia, registered as a Muslim, except he lies about every damn aspect of his, and I'm sick of it.
Well, the funny thing is that it was easy for the Democrats to whitewash and the media to help whitewash Barack Obama's career because he didn't have much of one to speak of. We'll keep that in mind.
Well, let's get Barack Obama straight.
Right.
His bathhouse Barry, the guy is gay.
Right.
About as gay as it comes.
But they could hide that because none of it was on video. Everything
Okay.
Kamala Harris has said or done is on video or somewhere along the line. The media
Okay, I
lying
agree with
about
that.
her being aborted is all. It was.
When
You
Barack
can't hide
Obama
Kamala
was in the state legislature, I documented this
Right.
in Obama Nation. He
Exactly.
was on the floor saying that if a baby was born and the mother didn't want it, they could kill the baby. Now, I was on Fox News. They said, well, this was back when the Combs and Hannity days. And Combs asked me, "Are you saying this was infanticide?" I said, "That's what you call it. That's infanticide. The baby was alive." Okay, they threw a baby away into a dust closet, and then somebody found the baby and saved the baby. And Obama's down there said, "Just kill the baby. Mother doesn't want to kill it." Yeah, well,
The
good
mentality.
drama.
Yeah.
And Barack Obama was here living on his credit cards, smoking cigarettes, and Michelle's up with two kids in an apartment, screaming at him on the street because he's a deadbeat. Doing drugs, doing all kinds of drugs, playing around with Rezko and all these other guys in Chicago who are a bunch of criminals. This guy Obama, he was never reported honestly. Hope and change, bop, bop, bop. Nonsense, crap, lies. We've been fed lies since 2008. The fundamental change we got was to destroy America. And I'm sick and tired of it. It needs to come to an end.
It's pop star packaging. It's what we see today in with the non-talented pop stars. You dress them up, make them up nice and pretty. Nobody knows about their past, and you put them in front of the microphone, in front of the camera, auto-tune their music, make it look like they have talent, and they sell a lot of records. This is what the Democrats are doing with their candidates. They did it with Bill Clinton. They did it with well, they couldn't do it with John Kerry, by the way.
Well, we
flip
voted him with unfit for command.
Right. But they did do that with Barack Obama. It was easier to package him up than and even Bill Clinton, because not a lot was known about his past. It took people like you and many others to reveal his past, but by that time the media could say, well, no, that's not true, because there's nothing on video, no real record that people dare to even look at. It takes people, if it takes time to research something, the average person won't do it. With Kamala Harris, we already have the media calling her the border czar. We have a video of Joe Biden appointing her the border czar. We have her going to El Paso once. We have her we have her idiocy all over and her,
all of this is now being gaslit because they're trying to erase it from the internet. They're trying even to erase that Trump was shot at from the internet. They're trying to, rewrite history as it's going along. And American people, I think, are catching on. These people can go to hell. And I mean hell. They're following Satan. Just go ahead and follow Satan right straight into hell. Be my guest. But we're going to welcome them there. We're going to say, you guys, we're glad to get rid of you. And please don't cause a nuclear war on your way out. Let's cover this next story. Another video here came out yesterday about this shooter on the roof. These two disgusting hearings in Congress, House and Senate, with the Secret Service have made it clear that these DEI Secret Service are getting agents who come from Dyke City. They can't even holster their pistols. They can't do the communications. They don't know how to do anything except to, look like Secret Service. And so here you got a picture of the sniper moving along the roof before he shoots, and nothing's happening. Nobody's taking him out. Nobody's investigating. Nobody's getting Donald Trump off the podium. I mean, I'm maintaining that the Secret Service goal was to create a window in which a shot could be taken. And that's the only explanation of how they behaved. I would like to close down the Secret Service, like to indict some of these people for treason, like to investigate them. And if Garland won't do it, let's indict him for treason. I'm getting sick and tired of this political justice. Play the clip, would you please, Chris? There he is, moving across the top of that's the sniper right there. Got him on film. Okay, now the people in the crowd have better electronics and better surveillance than the Secret Service does. Secret Service is there with orders. They can't shoot until somebody shoots the kid. The kid takes a shot, then they can shoot him after he kills Trump. What kind of bullshit is this? I'm sorry, I've had it. The Secret Service is not reliable. We've got a proposal in front of the Trump campaign. I've been publicizing it on Gateway Pundit, that there's a private security firm that is offered to protect Donald Trump. We've been featuring it. I'll give Chris the name of the firm here so we can put it up. We're going to do a lot more with this because I do not trust that this is going to work in terms of having the Secret Service. They're just going to take another shot at Trump. The next time, it's the same thing as they did with Jack Kennedy. And my book, by the way, on the final analysis is doing quite well because it shows the Secret Service, again, stood down. Okay, they stood down. They drove out Jack Kennedy into a kill zone in Elm Street, not having protected the grassy knoll, the buildings behind the limousine, buildings on the south side of Dealey Plaza, the other side of the plaza. They had a crossfire going on. Well, crossfire is what they'll do next here, too. And Donald Trump won't survive a crossfire. That's why we can't allow the Secret Service to be in charge. Secret Service needs to be disbanded today. Here's the proposal. I'm going to give it to Chris, and she can bring up the company. You can possibly display the proposal. I'll try to make it so he can. Hold on one second. I'm going to copy it and put it into the background here so we can show it, hopefully, pull it up. And let me just copy it. I'll go over here. And in the broadcast, I'll put it into chat. If you can pull that up, Chris, go ahead and pull it up. We'll show it. This is a good proposal. We need to have private security. We need to have people know what they're doing. You can't trust Donald Trump's life to these clowns, or even worse, to these traitors, or even worse, to these assassins called the Secret Service. Secret Service is an assassin bureau. We don't need them. The entire federal government. I'm back to my proposal. I recommend Donald Trump, in his first act as president, move the entire federal bureaucracy to Death Valley. Secret Service, they can relocate, and we'll give them all the wind and solar they want. They get all the electric vehicles they want. They get all the Quonset huts they want. We'll make it comfortable for them. They like wind and solar? Have it. Much as you want, we'll give you. That's where you relocate. Don't want to relocate, quit. We need to get the Beltway gone. Beltway is independent agents not elected by anyone making decisions that affect our lives. And they call this democracy. The Democrats by democracy mean they rule and no one else gets to say anything. They mean our children get to have sex operations in school and we don't have to do anything. We can't even know about it. I mean, we get transgenders doing story hour. It means we got gay parades parading naked with, sacrilegious events at the opening of the Olympics. These people can go to hell. And go there now. We do not need this anti-Christian evil. And that's what it is. And so therefore, this election is a repudiation of Satan. It's not Kamala who's on the ballot. It's Satan who's on the ballot. Now, that Satan is Obama. When I wrote Abomination, I had in mind the abomination right out of the Bible. That's why I said abomination. Abomination of desolation. It's repeated many times, Daniel, etc. And this is an abomination. Now, if he's the Antichrist or not, I don't know. But he's certainly acting like it. Hates God. Take God out of the schools. Kill babies. So Kamala's going to run on kill babies, bring in illegal immigrants, give them free medical care. What about all the blacks? She's supposed to be black. Why don't they get free medical care? Well, they're citizens. We don't care about citizens. We want illegals to vote. Yeah, well, good luck. Okay, now a couple more things I want to focus on. We're creating the Anti-Globalist Alliance. And Chris, if you'll show the Anti-Globalist Alliance book, it's now available in pre-sales on Amazon. It's called the Anti-Globalist Manifesto, Ending the War on Humanity. It'll be a war room book with Steve Bannon writing the introduction. And we've created the Anti-Globalist Alliance in the United States and in Europe. It's going to be a major organization. We're going to fight these people. And I want you to take a look at, we're going to transform, by the way, the Truth Central into the Anti-Globalist Alliance podcast. And we're going to be going into a new kind of format, some news, much more interview show, probably longer. And we will be directly contesting to enter into another higher level of international broadcasting, where we're going to be able to interview guests around the world. We're going to be able to really extend the reach of this program. And I've decided that, as I said, I went through the Mueller investigation, which was devastating. And the Mueller investigation wanted to put me in prison because they thought I had a tie to Julian Assange. You'll recall they said that 2018 that I could face a jury in Washington, D.C. They would convict me, put me in prison the rest of my life for lying to them that saying I didn't have a contact with Julian Assange, which I did not. Or I could take a plea deal and I could say I had lied and I had contact with Julian Assange and I'd get off lightly. Told them to take their plea deal and shove it. So I will not stand before a judge or God and swear to a lie to keep myself out of prison. So you go ahead and put me in prison the rest of my life. Well, had I taken that plea deal, they had the case made against Donald Trump on Russian collusion because I did not take the plea deal, the end of the Mueller investigation. All right, now we're going to shut them down again. We're going to shut down this entire woke train wreck. We're going to send it to hell with Satan. The Anti-Globalist Alliance will be a major organization. And we're going to launch it on Steve Bannon's show. We're going to invite, and Chris, if you'll show another thing, we created a foundation, which is gods5stones.com. GODS, no apostrophe, FIVE spelled out, STONES.com. Gods5stones. Because we show it up on the screen. .com. Gods5stones.com. It's after of course, the David and Goliath story, or David picks up 5 smooth stones from a brook to go after Goliath, and just the right stones. Gods, GODS, no apostrophe, 5 spelled out, FIVE, STONES.com. On it right now is the evidence we've got that there are algorithms, coding, cryptography, like military codes that have been written into the State Board of Election voter registration files. Those are extremely important because Andrew Paquette found them in New York. They're complex. But what they permit you to do is to create false records of voters that look legitimate. But since you've created the code, you can hide them back in the deck. It's like going into a casino and playing blackjack with a 5-card shoe, and the house has marked those cards so they can deal you the cards they want you dealt. It's not a fair game. So you can find these votes. The criminals can bring these votes out. They can give them mail-in ballots, which will certify because the numbers look legitimate. The numbers printed on the ballots look legitimate. And we find these in 13 states. And we're in the process right now of revealing this information. And we'll be doing a lot in August to make this a national story. And I guarantee you we're going to get that done. going to be a national story. The Anti-globalist alliance is going to be get back to communities, get back to God, get back to families, get back to unity. Stop this hatred, this dripping racial hatred. That woman was, her heart was stone. Her hatred of Donald Trump, she didn't care if it was fair. She had her mind made up. Orange man bad. Well, Donald Trump has done a lot for black people. I've known Donald Trump for 40 years. I've seen him on construction sites. I've seen him walk up to people building and saying, "Are you okay?" I've seen him hire minorities. I've seen him negotiate with minorities. I've been in New York City a long time, and I've had a good career in New York City, thank God. And I know what Donald Trump's capable of doing. I was a VIP guest at his hotel when he owned it, the Hut Plaza Hotel. And I had a long career in banking, finance. And I was a VIP guest in that hotel. Donald Trump treated me very well. And I can attest to he's a gentleman. I can attest that he cares about people. I can attest that all the things you're hearing from the mainstream media are lies. This is not Donald Trump. And I'm praying for his safety, and we're going to take steps to make sure he's safe. But if you like what we're doing and you'll hear more of it, a lot more of this, then please go to gods5stones.com. It's a 501c3 organization. It's educational. It's not going to be involved in political action. It's educational. These issues like voter integrity, these issues of security of the president, many issues getting energy back into the hands of people out of the monopolies. We're going to be dealing with a lot of issues lately and pushing them through this anti-globalist alliance. And Archbishop Vigano asked for this to be done 3 years ago. He has written the introduction, new preface to my book, The Final Analysis in JFK. If you want to read it, you can make sure that you can see that introduction. And the introduction, I believe, I was greatly graced that he did this. Archbishop Vigano has been excommunicated by Pope Francis, because Pope Francis is LGBT. And Archbishop Vigano believes that LGBT is a sin against the law of God. And I'm with Archbishop Vigano. These beastly acts, what are we going to do next? Pedophilia? Then where do we go? Necrophilia? Where do they stop? I've just authorized the printing of I'm an editor at large with Post Hill Press. I've been working with Anthony Zaccardi for years. We'll be publishing a novel that's going to be shocking here. It's going to be called Silicon Satan, and it's the real story of what the Satanism is about. I've been working on this with this gentleman for 8 years. He was there. He escaped. We finally decided to publish the story. It's very, very dark. But if you read this, you're going to see what we're up against. We're up against powers and principalities who hate God. And we are going to send them to hell hard. And there's not going to be World War III because that's not going to happen. They will cause World War III if we allow them. Let's shift into some of those issues. Now, we've got it going on in the Middle East. This Hamas leader was killed in Iran by Israel. They killed a Hezbollah agent in Beirut. And now Iran is swearing that they're going to do a direct attack on Iran. Iran's going to do a direct attack on Israel. So we're beginning to have the war of Gog and Magog, Ezekiel 37:38, another nuclear potential shaping up. And our genius, Anthony Blinken, who's been trying to get a peace so that Hamas could regroup, said yesterday reluctantly that we will support Israel in this fight. Well, there's coming battle here, which will escalate. And I pray that it will not go into a regional war, that it will not go into a war that will become nuclear. But Israel is fighting a war that's existential, survival. Israel understood that Hamas was out to destroy, kill Jews. Israel saying, not going to happen. And this Hamas is going to be leveled. Tunnels are going to be destroyed, may be uninhabitable. That'd be fine for a while. Get it cleared out of all these Hamas insanity. And by the way, our genius administration, Kamala, is going to release Sheikh Khalid Mohammed, who is the guy behind the 9/11 plot. Oh, we love terrorists. We love chaos. We love Satan. We love World War III. And our administration is talking about moving more nuclear weapons into Europe. This has got to be stopped. What I'm predicting is that we're going to have August will be relatively tranquil because the Democrats can't this time launch Black Lives Matter and Antifa because it's on their watch. So they don't want that disruption. But we're going to have the convention coming up here, the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. And I think Hamas is going to be protesting, especially if all of this violence escalates in Israel. And the Democratic Party is going to become an anti-Semitic, anti-Jew, Hamas-loving, terrorist-loving party. And I can't wait until that's shown to the American people. Let's see them for what they are. From the river to the sea, they will be chanting. Yeah, well, they go to the river to the sea and they can jump in the sea and not come back. Israel is destined by God to be recreated. And God says in the Bible, when it's recreated, it's not going away. Doesn't mean the Jews are perfect. They are the chosen people. And God will stand by the Jews. We will stand by Israel. EU is a complete mess. They don't know what they're doing. The economic destruction is imminent. We have now $35 billion in debt, rapidly going to $35 trillion in national debt, rapidly going to 36 trillion, rapidly going to 50 trillion. We're spending about 70% of our tax revenue just paying the interest on the debt. Well, this is ridiculous. This is bankruptcy. There's the U.S. debt clock, and where is it today? It's $35 trillion. Now it's headed to $36 trillion. Well, we're broke. And we just keep spending money, keep the stock market propped up. It looks real good. Put your money in the stock market. And when it crashes, which it will, soon after Trump wins, which he will, then you're going to find that the international market's going to crash and your stocks and your retirement savings that you put into the stock market are going to crash and they won't come back for a long time. You've been warned. In the meantime, talk to Swiss America. There's a lot on the website on Swiss America. We're going to be doing a lot more with Swiss America as we move into another dimension here with the Anti-globalist alliance. I'm going to give you right now what gold and silver are right today. Gold is now $2,451 an ounce. As I said, it was not going to stay below $2,400 an ounce for very long. Now we've got war escalating. So gold's not going to take another steep rise. Silver's at $29 an ounce. Silver's going to be increasing too. And with silver, we're going to see it kind of go increasingly up over $30 an ounce. We're going to have some special offers on Swiss America that I'm going to put together. That you're going to see that the $29 an ounce here is going to be relatively cheap. It's going to double faster in silver than $2,400 an ounce for gold is going to go to $4,800. It's going there. It's going to take a little bit longer. And this is a complete destroyed economy. I don't think our military, by the way, we've got 3 wars going. We've got Taiwan also heating up, and numerous other regional conflicts. I think our military is incapable of fighting a war right now. I think they could do better running a transgender parade with admirals and dresses down Fifth Avenue than they could fighting a war anywhere in the world. Just like our Secret Services can't protect anybody. And, the government's broke. It doesn't work. And people are sick of it. EVs are languishing. So Kamala Harris is going to have all these EVs mandated. Nobody wants them. There's no charging stations. They didn't build them. They stole the money. Corruption is massive. And my prediction is we're going to have in a relatively tranquil August, except for Hamas and the protests at Hamas and chaos of the Democratic Convention. September, we got another pandemic coming. I'm just recovering from COVID. Thank God I'm beginning to really recover. I think you can hear it in my voice. I've had it for a month. This is going to be a very lethal form of COVID. And we're going to have the bird flu. So we're ramping up telemedicine right now, and it will be featured very prominently in the coming Anti-globalist alliance. Then I think in the third feature, we're going to try to have this mail-in voting. And the Democrats are going to try to steal the election. There's the telemedicine programs. Well, much, much more on these in the coming days. And they'll be beefed up with the Zelenko protocols are not going to work this time. I've tried them. It's beyond the Zelenko protocols. They modified these diseases, so hydroxychloroquine and zinc are not going to solve the problem. We have to go to much more advanced medicine. And we will have that featured on our websites. Just what I'm preparing for, because I can see it coming. I've had it. God gave it to me. Okay, this is what you're going to get ready for this. That was the message. Well, we're ready for it. All right, now I want to kind of wrap this up by emphasizing in the end, God always wins. I'm trying to keep these to about a half an hour right now for news, and that's kind of the format we're going to. We'll do a brief review of the news, then we're going to start interviewing people. That's going to be the new Anti-Globalist Alliance podcast. It'll be unveiled here pretty soon. In the end, God always wins. God's going to win here too. God did not create this experience to lose. God's sovereign. The end, he's already written the end. The end is Satan loses. Obama and company go to hell. We'll get rid of these people, hopefully once and forever. I'd like to disband the EU. I'd like to end this globalism. Yeah, these people are depopulations. They want to kill us. Satan's always got these beautiful plans, except Satan's not human. Doesn't quite figure it out. So I don't think Satan told everybody they're going to be depopulated. I don't think 8 billion people are ready to be just extinguished in a nuclear war. Satan thinks that's a good idea. Democrats think that's a good idea. I mean, they're following Satan lockstep. Why not have to follow their ruler, their master? And why does Kamala got all these hand signals and all this and the cackling? I mean, what's this woman's dark side? Dr. Jerome Corsi, I encourage you in Second Chronicles 7:14 to join me. Let's get on our knees. Let's repent that we allowed the world to get to this point. Got to assume responsibility, including allowing this Republican platform to be taken out, protecting the right to life. Quit trying to include the LGBTG. We don't negotiate with Satan. We renounce Satan and send him to hell. Period. We don't negotiate with these people. They're evil. We don't tolerate evil. We ban it. And by the way, that includes the CIA and its MK Ultra program. And I want to know this kid who is, I think, the supposed shooter. I think he was the setup. He was the fall guy. He was the patsy. He probably drugged up his mind in MK Ultra, and we don't still know his story. I don't think he shot anybody. I think the first bursts of shots were the ones that were lethal. Potentially. Thank God they did not succeed. We can't let this happen again. Dr. Jerome Corsi, I believe God will protect Donald Trump. I'm praying that's the case. In the end, God will win here. We do follow 2 Chronicles 7:14. God will hear our prayer and heal our land. And our prayer is that we have sinned, not defending God, not following God's law, letting these people act as if they were reasonable when they are insane schizophrenics. We're not going to let the schizophrenics run the United States of America and destroy our freedoms. Dr. Jerome Corsi, we're doing these podcasts every weekday. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. God bless.